Good
And we
afternoon.
are live, Lisa.
Good afternoon. This is Lisa Girardi with the Chicago Dental Society. Welcome to today's webinar on driving traffic to and successfully working your Midwinter meeting virtual exhibit. To guide you today is America's leading expert on exhibiting productivity and performance. He is our trade show expert of choice who created our Exhibitor ROI Center and leads the E3 Exhibiting Effectiveness Evaluation Program during our in-person meetings. Please join me in welcoming Jefferson Davis.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. And again, thank you to everyone for coming out and investing a little time with us to make sure that you have your ducks in a row for the upcoming CDS Midwinter meeting. Most of you know me. I've been around the Midwinter meeting now for several years. I've had the pleasure to probably evaluate every one of your booths in action on the show floor. And I'm just excited to be here with you. The biggest change for all of us, self included, was on Friday, March 13th, when our industry got essentially shut down. Once I got past the shock and awe and everything that was happening there, I really took a deep dive into the virtual exhibiting arena, began by studying the different platforms available and trying to understand what were the critical success factors that we as exhibitors had to address to be able to make virtual exhibiting work for us. Over the 9 months now, we've refined it into what we call a virtual exhibit marketing process. So far, I've had the honor of having over 2,000 exhibitors participate in our virtual exhibiting webinars, and I've heard some tremendous feedback about the results they're getting, and that's my hope for you too. So I'm glad you're here with us today. At any time during your journey, feel free to reach out to Lisa at CDS. We've also got some guests on the webinar that will play a really important role. We've got Casey Pinella with Grip, who is the AI matchmaking tool that's layered into the Freeman OE Pro tool. We've got Andrea Lemus, with Freeman. We got Vi Lam Mai and David Johnson of Freeman. They are on board today to listen in and help out answering any questions you may have as we get into this topic of today. I want to start with a quick poll. Did you attend? The poll's going to go live right now. I would like to find out if you have attended any of the previous virtual exhibit training sessions we've done so far. Go ahead and click the radio dial button that applies. I'll give you just a moment. Okay, about 70% of the you have polled so far. If you haven't done so, I'll give you just another moment. And then I will share the results. Here we go on 3, 2, 1. So it looks like 22% of you attended both. Congratulations. You have been building your house. 21% of you only attended one. It was probably the Optimize, I would imagine. But 57% of you have not been on any of the webinars. So I would strongly encourage you to go back and take a look at the Optimize Your Midwinter Meeting. This is where we took the Freeman OE Pro platform and we went through the attendee-facing functionality, and we gave you some best practices on how to optimize all of the resources available. The first webinar, if you are with us today and you're still on the fence about whether or not you should exhibit virtually, or you've got a boss or an owner or a partner who's maybe questioning what you're doing, you may want to go back and look at webinar number 1. We really talked about the importance of continuing to keep your brand visible, interact with customers, promote your products during a crisis. We really made an important case that this is not the time to disappear or go dark in the market. Out of sight really is out of mind in the business world today. So you want to make sure that you're staying visible and you're doing everything you can do during this crisis. And today we're going to get into, really the third leg of the stool here, which is how do you drive traffic to, and how do you staff, and how do you prepare, and how do you work your CDS virtual booth. All of these resources, we will record today's session, and it will be uploaded to the CDS Midwinter meeting site. You can see the URL on the bottom. It's long. Essentially, just go cds.org and look for Exhibitor ROI Center. That's where the content is being housed. So let's get rolling here. So if you were in Optimize, you've already kind of, thought about the attendee journey through your virtual exhibit in terms of your company description, optimizing your videos, what content to upload in terms of documents. The biggest insight, if there's one thing that I could stress that I cannot overstress in the virtual exhibiting arena, it's this. People do not walk up and down a virtual exhibit aisle and fall into booths at random. So you have got to do everything you can do on your own. And we're going to introduce you a little bit in today's webinar, but we're going to do a follow-up one to show you how to use the GRIP AI matchmaking platform. But you can't just show up, all right? You can't just throw your content up there, and you can't just log on during the event and sit around and wait and hope that people are going to find you. We're 9 months into virtual exhibiting with hundreds of virtual events happening. The single biggest challenge that exhibitors have faced so far is they have struggled to get enough of the right people to their virtual exhibit. Knowing that gives you a tremendous advantage in what you can do between now and when the virtual expo goes live. So lock that down and just know. So let's talk about marketing your virtual booth. I want to give you some, kind of get your brain moving in that direction, give you some great questions to start getting your content together, and try to give you some best practices to put together an integrated marketing plan that puts you in the mind and on the agenda of enough of the right CDS Midwinter meetings. So again, I'm going to reinforce this, promoting before and during, and for that matter, even after the event, because the platform is open, especially before and during. This is a must-do. It's not a maybe. It's not a, oh, I'd like to if I could find the time. This is absolutely going to determine your success. And if you don't do it, you're probably going to struggle. Okay? We're going to give you everything we can to do it, but you've got to understand that you've got to invest more time in this critical success factor. Now, here's the thing about the virtual, and we talked about this in why virtual exhibiting, okay? Defining a really clearly defined target of who are the most important dental professionals that you would want to see and interact with during the virtual event, right? That's critical. You don't need hundreds and you don't need thousands of attendees to win the virtual game. Truthfully, honestly, for most of you, if you could get 15 to 50 of the right people, right, to the virtual event, into your platform, engaging with your staff and your content, you're going to win the game, right? Because the cost to execute a virtual exhibit is way, way less than the cost to execute a live. So you're saving a ton of money, right? And so I guess the best insider tip I can give you is do not be fearful about allocating some percentage of your total budget and investing more in promoting your participation. In a live exhibit, the average exhibitor allocates 14% of their total show budget to promoting and driving traffic. I would recommend seriously that you take whatever your total investment in your virtual exhibit is, and I would match that. If you invested $5,000 to get in, I would have no problem investing $5,000 in driving the right people to your booth, right? Because again, the cost is so much lower and it's going to be easier for you to get ROI. But the limiting factor is going to be, can you get enough of the right dental professionals to your exhibit? So that very tight list. To do this, you're going to have to craft a clear and a compelling value proposition, right? The value proposition. This is the key to you getting traffic. You know, you got to remember, we talked about it in the previous webinar, when people are sitting at home, they're working from home because of the pandemic, there's the distraction level, not only in the house, but also on the computer, right, is at a frenzied peak. And their radio station, that radio station in their brain is tuned into a station called WIIFM. It's 98.4 on the dial, but it's called What's in It for Me, right? And so it's incumbent on every one of you, right? Every one of you to define who your target visitor is and to craft a value proposition that's going to make them go, I have to go interact with you during this virtual event. Okay, this is different than the live world, and you got to do that. So let's throw out some questions, and I want you to gather your sales, your marketing, and your product managers. And I want you to really power through these questions and come up with your best content. This will give you the ammunition or the content for your marketing communications between now and go time. Step away from your products. Step away from your services. Remember, the old saying in marketing said, people don't buy 3/4-inch drill bits. They buy 3/4-inch holes, right? So the product or the service is the means to the end, right? I want you to focus on the end. I want your value proposition. I want you to ask, what is the single biggest problem or challenge that your dental clients are facing right now? And the more timely and relevant it is, the more powerful it's going to pull. That single big problem that they're experiencing that you can help them solve, right? And I want you to include this problem, this challenge, everywhere they look. You see, the human brain operates from the reticular activating system. All of us have problems in our personal life. We have them in our professional life. And these problems get stored in our reticular activator. And it's virtually impossible for us not to notice anything, whether it's in print, digital, audio, visual, whatever, that triggers a problem that we're having. So again, forget about your products, focus on customer problems, okay? And right now, as we said in that first webinar, with this pandemic, everybody's facing a whole new set of problems. They are very close to what those problems are. And if they see anything that comes in their purview that relates to that problem, they're going to notice it, okay? And they're going to respond to it. So that's your first big value prop. The second is, remember the 3 reasons why people attend expos live and virtual. They come to learn, they come to network, and they come to source. So here's the next thing I want you to think about. Every one of you are product experts on what you market, what you sell. So I want you to ask yourself, what can you teach them, right? Knowing that they're coming to learn. What can they learn by visiting and interacting with your videos and your staff and your documents and chatting and holding virtual meetings? You're the subject matter expert. Promise they will learn something quickly, interactively, that's going to help them solve a problem or achieve a goal by visiting. So what can you teach them? Remember, they come to learn. Make your exhibit an adjunct to, and I'm going to give you a really killer marketing technique in a moment about how to tie into learning, but I want to ask you, what can you teach, right? Because content is king online, right? And finally, think about what they'll gain, what they'll save, what they'll achieve, or what they'll avoid by visiting your virtual booth, interacting with your staff, and learning about your solutions, okay? Your value proposition has to be that big reason why. You know, as of right now, we're going to have somewhere in the range of 130-ish virtual exhibitors. They're not going to visit all 130. That ain't happening in any virtual event, right? So the question that each one of you as an exhibitor have to take ownership for is, why should they visit you? And please don't assume that they're just going to show up and visit you because you've been in business for 100 years or you used to have the biggest booth on the show floor at the CDS Midwinter meeting, because Another thing in the virtual world we talked about, booth size no longer matters. The playing field is equal. So I don't care if you're a 10 by 10 previously or 100 by 100, right? You can win this game. You don't need everybody. You need the right people, and to do that, you've got to find your voice, and you've got to be able to articulate a value proposition that taps them and says, I got to go to this event, I have to see, and I have to interact with you. If I stopped now and gave you nothing else and said, we're done, and you only took this and you acted on this first slide, you would be in the top 10% of exhibitors in North America. Okay, let's keep rolling here. Now, DIY, we're talking about do-it-yourself here, okay? Okay, where do you start, right? Now, of course, there are dental professionals that are going to pre-register, and we're going to talk about how they're visible and how you can access them. But here's the thing. Start with your house lists. You already have these relationships. Begin top of the list, your customers. Who are active customers that you have not been able to get into the dental practice over the last 3 to 6 months, right? Who are inactive customers who have done business with you over the last 6, 9, 12 months, 2 years, right? And they've gone kind of dormant, right? Start there. They already know you. They already have the relationship. Invite them. Talk to your sales team. Talk to your dealers. Talk to your distributors, right? About prospects that are currently in the sales pipeline. How can you use the CDS Midwinter meeting to move them one step closer? Anybody who's inquired about your product services recently, people that have visited your websites, people that have downloaded lead magnets and documents. Take all those names that people visited you at the CDS and whatever other dental meetings you've done. Put them on your list. Work your social media connections. If you're on LinkedIn, you've got all these connections. Maybe you're doing Facebook. Maybe you're doing Instagram. Work all these, but you already have in your possession the ability to win this game if you will work your house list. So start with your warm circle, and then work your way out. Okay. Next, segment your lists. Okay. Of course, you're not going to talk to a customer the way you talk to a prospect in the sales pipeline. You're not going to talk to a prospect in the sales pipeline the same way you would talk to a potential new account. So put your list into segments or buckets, and then make sure your messaging and your content for each of those segments is on message, on point. Okay? Start your marketing. Here's what's interesting. This is a big difference. Listen carefully to this. One of the biggest differences we've learned in virtual exhibiting is that the majority of attendees do not actually even register for the event until the 3 to 5 week window before the event. Okay? 3 to 5 weeks. So you've got the time to put together a really well-designed integrated marketing campaign. And then in that 2 to 3 week window before go time, that's the sweet spot for marketing. And one of my friends, Joe Fetterbush of Evolio Marketing, he used to be with Exhibit Surveys, was sharing some research with me recently. And his research found that 3 out of 4 attendees are setting their virtual event agenda 5 to 7 days before the event. So the marketing window, for a live event where you have to book air and you got to book hotel and you got to do all that stuff's out the window, right? They're registering closer to the event and they're planning their agendas even closer to the event. And that's really good news for you, right? It gives you that window. Right now you're sitting right in the the cat seat here, if you will. Okay, media, email, right? Social media, web landing pages. And when you have phone numbers, pick up the phone and call, right? If you already have the phone numbers, so you're going to lean more towards digital marketing media to promote a digital virtual event, right? Next, 3 touches. Try to land at least 3 direct touch points between now and go time, and it seems to work best when those 3 touch points are through multiple media, not just email, or post, but the combination. For me, what I'd be going for is I would drill down my list of my 50 must-see visitors, and I would use social media, connect, personal contact, email, telephone, and some form of a calendaring. And GRIP, you'll find out about setting meetings and appointments within the platform. But calendaring, write that phrase down too. Calendaring is critical in the virtual world. The more people's calendar you can get on before the event's open and during the event, the more success you're going to have. Again, why? Because they're not falling into virtual exhibit aisles and stumbling into booths at random. Okay? And remember that value proposition. When people are going to experience your exhibit, what are they going to see? What are they going to do? What are they going to learn? And what are they going to get? Right? So give them that clear and compelling reason. So that's DIY. This is stuff you can do on your own. Okay? So here's a few examples, okay? And I've blocked these out, but these would be ways of some are good, some are not so great. Okay, here's a LinkedIn promotion for a virtual expo. And notice the headline, hey, Joe, from this date, the conference will be happening and we'll be part of it. Let's connect and to understand how we could collaborate. Well, who are you and what collaborate about what? And the message isn't powerful. There's no clear benefit to me. I covered up some of this, but there's not even a company name in the body. There's actually a typo in it, and it's all about me, right? Right? It's all about me. So that's a great example of how not to do it, okay? So you don't want to go with that type of an approach. Remember your value prop. Here's a good example of an email campaign, by the way, which was around the same show. They used an email where they had a simulated graphic of their virtual exhibit, which was awesome. It was very well branded. It had a preview of the booth. They had people in the imagery rather than just the line drawing, which humanized the experience. There was a crystal clear benefit, offer a great employee experience, right? And there was a clear call to action button right toward the bottom. Meet with us. Click here, okay? They followed that up. Now, see you at benefit focus headline, empower, notice the top, the subject line, empower your HR success by attending, right? The branding was consistent, the look and feel, and the copy was somewhat assumptive that you're going, so we will see you at the event. Then when you click through, you can see they were promoting daily live demo presentations. They were promoting their theater demonstrations, right? So they kind of gave you a good view of what's going to be going on. And they could have improved this, maybe made it a little shorter. They definitely could have improved it on these live demo sessions by putting some form of click here to register for or schedule. Calendaring, again, calendaring is so key. And the same thing with their theater sessions. Register for the session at here, telling them what to do. Another example of this, once you click the Meet With Us button, remember that? Where did it take you? It took you to a preview of the booth. It had an event countdown timer. It starts in 1 day, 3 hours and 46 minutes. You had the ability to pre-schedule meetings. Look at the navigation bar in the upper left. Schedule, right? Experts, profile, contact us. So you could pre-schedule your meeting. You could meet our staff, and you could contact us right now. It's a great example of a good pre-marketing. Here's some social media examples from the same event where they were using LinkedIn, where they had almost 360,000 connections. They had 30,400 followers on Twitter, right? So they were promoting through the social media. Notice the kind of image on the left, unsafe working conditions affect, they're dangling what? The problem, right? Nowadays with COVID, you think people are worried about safe working conditions? Probably more than ever, right? So those would be some examples. Here's an example of a landing page that was specifically built to feature their participation in the expo. The HR conference and expo had clean design, had clear branding. There was a real clear call to action, learn more, request a demo, and they outlined the different ways that you could engage with them at the HR Tech. See the workday in action. Look at that, pre-schedule a demo. Get inspired, we're doing a session, add to calendar. Learn together, we're doing a demo, add to calendar, right? So there were a lot of call to actions, and they also had a chat bot on there, so you had the ability to interact with them right now if you had any questions. And those chat bots, there's free resources out there. You can add those to almost any web page or landing page. That way you're instantly responsive. Okay, pro tip, here's a big one. Listen carefully to this. people come to these expos to do what? Learn, right? Especially in the dental community, there's a lot of education. The attendees are really coming to learn. So here's one of the best tips I can give you today. I want you to look at the educational session roster. Look at the topics, look at the days, look at the times, and I want you to ask yourself, which of these sessions are presenting a topic that relates to what I do? So you're going to try to link to these. Then promote those sessions, right? Say, hey, if you're going to check out, now, if you're doing sessions yourself, of course, but I'm talking about promoting other people's sessions, right? Because when people attend an educational session, their brains get all worked up on the topic, and the best thing that you could have happen is have them set in an educational session and then have a meeting with you shortly after or visit your booth and chat with your staff. So find the sessions that relate to what you do, promote the session, and give them a message like, let the learning continue. We have specific ideas that will help you address the topic of that session. Schedule a meeting, chat with our staff, watch our video, right? Tell them what you want them to do. It's a really powerful marketing technique so far that less than 5% of virtual exhibitors have paid attention to. Okay. Now, if you really want to make sure that you get the commitment, right? I mean, calendaring helps a lot when it's on your calendar and it's on their calendar, right? So you've got that appointment, but put some form of a reward in play, or maybe a contest. Say, hey, attend this session, visit our virtual booth, chat with our staff. You'll get X, or we'll put you in a drawing to win something, right? For your high level, if you were to drill down your must-see list to maybe 10 to 20 people, you might want to consider some form of a higher level reward for scheduling a meeting. And of course, you don't get the reward if you don't show. You get it when you schedule it and you show up and complete the meeting. Okay, so I've fired a lot at you there, some DIY stuff. I've really tried to hammer home that you can win this game. Don't listen to what people out in the streets are telling you virtual expos don't work. They don't work for exhibitors who aren't preparing. When exhibitors just show up and hope that the attendee finds them in the virtual world, that's why they're struggling. Virtual events do work, but it takes a very sharp focus, and that's what we're sharing with you today. Okay, I'm going to bring Lisa on for a moment. Lisa Girardi with CDS. I'm sure you all know her, and you love Lisa as much as we all do. She's been a part of the society for, 30 years now? Lisa, tell us a little bit
almost
about
35.
This. 35. You are an absolute rock star. So one of the challenges that a lot of virtual exhibitors have had in other events is they have no idea who's registered. There's no transparency. You guys are doing something a little different. Tell exhibitors about what you're doing to make registrants visible.
Well, our registration company will be feeding the attendee information through both platforms that we're using for the meeting, Freeman and Cadmium, so that this way, when you're on the in the GRIP dashboard, you can see all of the attendees who have registered for the event, and you are able to email specific people through a matchmaking program that we have created with Freeman to try to target the people who are interested in your products and people you may be interested in. So you'll be able to see who are the dentists, who are the staff, who are dental trade, etc. You'll also be able to see who the other participating exhibitors will be. And then you can certainly invite them into a live video chat meeting. So those are several of the things that you can do. You'll certainly get your GRIP dashboard closer to the event, and we will be having a webinar hosted by Freeman to help you gauge more insight on how to navigate and how to set up meetings.
That is so awesome, Lisa. I applaud you. I think the biggest frustration from exhibitors thus far in 2020 was they had no idea who or how many was registered, so there was no transparency. And number two, accessibility. There was no way to they weren't sharing pre-registration lists. And it sounds like you've broken down both of those barriers and I think you've made it a lot easier to win. Now, you're also doing something else that's super cool here. I want to bring Casey Pinella on from GRIP. They're using some super sophisticated AI, artificial intelligence, matchmaking capabilities. Casey, can you give us just kind of a quick 30,000-foot overview about GRIP and what you think exhibitors need to know at a high level about GRIP?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Jefferson. Yeah, so GRIP is an AI-powered matchmaking and networking platform that delivers smart recommendations of professionals to meet based off your unique preferences. So it's a self-learning solution, and it will continuously deliver more intelligent recommendations as you utilize the platform. So the more you engage, the more you interact on the platform, the smarter it will get and the more value it can bring you. And touching on the points made earlier in the conversation, our solution was developed to solve the challenge of not meeting the right professionals at an event. There are hundreds that participate in these large virtual event and in-person events, and we want to make sure that you're connecting with the right people at the right time to drive your business forward. And that's why GRIP was created with our powerful AI solution, which takes into account your unique preferences and how you utilize the platform to deliver those smart recommendations of people to meet with.
That's awesome, Casey. I think that's really going to solve, in a big way, one of the biggest challenges exhibitors have been facing. And if I understand it at a high level, when the attendee registers for the virtual meeting, they are sent a link. They essentially go in and create a profile, and then that data gets pulled into your matchmaking. And does the exhibitor do that also? Does the exhibitor go in and create a profile, and then it kind of pushes the two of them together? Is that how that works?
Yes, of course. So a couple days before the event, you'll receive an email with your login credentials to access the platform. And exhibitors as well as attendees, the first time you log in, you'll be asked to go through a quick onboarding process where we're simply collecting your preferences of who you are. And then you will also both go in and update your profile. So remember, GRIP is a matchmaking platform, so it's person to person. So think a bit about this as your individual profile about who you are for the company that you represent. So I, as Casey Pinella, would have my own profile within this platform. So you'll go through the onboarding process, it's very easy, and then fill in your user profile. And all that information is being used and leveraged to serve you those smart recommendations.
That is so awesome. I'm excited to see this in action because I think you are really bridging the greatest problem that exhibitors have faced. And now all of a sudden the attendees are visible, accessible, and the ability to kind of match up and interact. That is, the word for that would be priceless. So congratulations, you guys, creating this amazing technology. Hey, and by the way, there will be a technical webinar, Freeman GRIP together, on taking you into the platform, the functionality, everything you need to know. We're looking at that within the next few weeks as we actually get the GRIP matchmaking engine built. So don't miss that. It's going to be critical to your success. So one of the other things that'll be important too is certainly you're going to have your DIY, do it yourself, working your house list, and then you're going to layer in GRIP. But I think to really put it over the top, you're going to want to take a look at, what CDS advertising sponsorship opportunities kind of tie into your goals and your budget, and select the ones that fit. Lisa, are there any kind of these advertising or sponsorship ops that you want to kind of put a spotlight on while we've got a minute or two here?
Oh, certainly. We will be doing our usual e-newsletters to the people who actually registered for the Midwinter meeting. So we typically do that in February. So you can certainly advertise on the newsletters and talk to our Director of Communications about creating an e-blast. So as we are in compliance with GDPR privacy rules, we no longer make lists available for sale, but we've come up with two opportunities for you to get the word directly out to the people who are coming to the meeting. So it's not just the whole litany of our membership, or the people and the staff who actually participate and signed up for the meeting. The other items that you see on the screen, we offer sponsorships on both of the platforms, the Freeman platform as well as the Cadmium platform. We will be linking it to your exhibit so that you get greater exposure. The virtual grab bag is on the Cadmium side, and we will be sending you more information. So if you wish, this whole idea is to drive more leads to your exhibit. So the grab bag will be like a virtual link to your website where we're having attendees fill out information for you to send them the item post-meeting, but at least you're grabbing the leads. It's the same for the drop-up business card on the exhibit itself. That is the lead retrieval device. And we are creating gamification like leaderboard, and we're trying to drive the attendees through each of the individual aspects of your exhibit, and we are encouraging you to create some type of a raffle or drawing where you too are driving people to drop their business card, because again, that is equivalent to having your badge scanned at an in-person meeting. You'll be getting their category, their name, their address, the demographic information that you typically get at an in-person meeting. Those are just some of the things. We just sent out a social media toolkit with our social media links and hashtags where we are encouraging you to promote your participation to your customers and potential customers. Identify that you're participating in Midwinter meeting, and to help you along and your customers along, registration fees, with the exception of some dentist categories, has been waived, and it is zero. It is free to come into the Midwinter meeting.
Wow.
Also, CDS member dentists have always gotten into the Midwinter meeting for free. So we encourage you to promote your participation.
Yeah, you've got some great ops there. We know in the live face-to-face show world that when you have a new product, new service, it's a magnet. So that new product showcase, if you have anything new, you really got to look at that. As Lisa mentioned, that virtual grab bag is a cool way to promote specials, raffles, contests, giveaways. You auto capture the information when they click. And remember, we said learning. They're coming to learn, and all of you are subject matter experts. So those corporate learning theater presentations. So there's so much you could do here. We could probably spend another 2 hours on the marketing piece, but I think we've kind of given you the high level of, remember, you don't need 500 or 1,000 people to win this game. Honestly, if you can get 15 to 50 of the right people to do that, you're going to have to craft that value proposition, right? You're going to have to communicate that value proposition through as many channels as possible. And then you're really going to want to leverage your GRIP platform, which you're going to learn more about. So this would be a moment here. We're running a few minutes behind content, but I want you to think about any specific questions that may have bubbled up in your mind about marketing your exhibit, driving traffic. Go to your question queue, type them in now. I'm going to jump in and go through the content on staffing, prep, and engagement, and then we're going to answer all your questions. And again, if we don't get to them in the live webinar, we'll be sure to follow up individually. So, okay, so what have you done now? You've optimized your virtual exhibit assets. You've put together a nice DIY and an integrated marketing plan that includes CDS ops and GRIP. Now you got to work your people. So your virtual success, your roadmap, if you will. Put your best people online, get them working, helping you to attract visitors. Make sure you train your staff on how to effectively interact with visitors in the online world. It's a little different than, when they walk into your booth at a live show. During those conversations, what you're looking for is a problem to solve or an opportunity to help them seize. In the virtual world, less is more. So you're going to want to briefly present how you can help them solve a problem or seize an opportunity. once you have an agreement, here's the problem, here's how we can help, you're going to want to try to get the visitor to collaborate and commit to a clear next action, and then capture it, follow up, and convert. So your staff, your virtual booth staff must be registered through ATT. The number of reps you can register is based on your package. It runs from 8 on the standard package up to 30 on your platinum. So you're going to want to look at, make sure that you understand your allotment. I would feature your product experts, your technical experts, your product managers. Everybody wants to talk to the people that they think are the knowledge people. You definitely want to have marketing, sales, customer service, and even executives on there, but put your technical, your product experts front and center. That's who people are going to want to talk with. Make sure that your personnel, just like a live expo, that you've created a staffing schedule and that you've got your virtual exhibit staffed during all open hours with enough of the right people. And similar to a live one, depending on the hours, you may want to split shift on how you do it. You've got from February 25th to 27th, it's 9 to 5. So you may even want to split it into 2, if not 3 shifts, where maybe you've got a 9 to 11:30 and 11:30 to 2, and then a 2 to 5 type rotation, because it's harder sitting on a computer. It's a lot harder sitting on a computer than it is standing in a booth live, right? So, try not to have any individual staffer. You have to work at 9 to 5, 3 days. And yet some of you small companies may have to do that. Try to rotate out your staff. Up staff, meaning have more staff online during the dedicated exhibit hours of 9:30 to 11, 12:30 to 2, and 3:30 to 5. These are the times when you're likely to see peaks in your traffic. These are also great times to use the GRIP matchmaking tool to initiate chats and try to set up meetings. One of the pro tips is maybe over the course of these 3 days, maybe take 1 day or maybe 2 where you've got an hour, like an hour of power with your CEO, and feature your senior executives and make them visible and accessible to your audience in very limited blocks, creating scarcity, right? That's a good practice. And GRIP, which you'll learn about in the upcoming webinar, you'll have the ability to create teams internally, and you'll have the ability to invite your team members and manage them through GRIP. So you're going to want to absolutely dial into that webinar. There's some great content coming up. Some of the staffing prep, getting your staff ready. Number one, you want to make sure that everybody gets to log into the platform before go live day, and there's a walkthrough of the various booth functions and how to use them. Hello, I'm back. Can you hear me? Lisa, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, yeah, the phone just dropped. I apologize. So let's get back. We got much to cover in 10 minutes here. Have everybody log in, get them intimately familiar with the booth functions, determine who's the lead contact for each of your solutions, emphasize them. Another thing you are going to have to think about and come up with kind of a protocol is, how do you want to handle students if competitors happen to visit your booth, dealer distributors, international visitors, media? You'll want to think through your process for that, determine who the point person is and what to do with them in advance. Okay. preparing them for interaction, I think it's a really good practice to have one person be your virtual booth host. And in the chat, I believe you have the ability to feature them. So you want to have, similar to the live one, if they walked into your booth and you are a larger booth, you have someone who greets them, finds out who they are, and takes them to where they want to go. So a virtual host. Remember, it's not what you tell, it's what you ask. So it's a really good idea to arm your booth staff with a simple list of seek to understand questions in terms of who are you talking with, what is their relationship with your company, what is prompting the interest, what are the specific questions they might have, and a way to, so they're not winging it. You don't want your staff winging it in these virtual meetings. You'll have two options for exhibitors to chat. You can access the grip, which you can do a lot of things through, one-to-one chat, and then you'll be able to chat within your actual profile page, which we'll be learning more about as we go on. When you're doing video meetings, whether it's one-to-one or group, a couple pointers: make sure your staff looks the part. Make sure they dress the part. If you would typically wear suits in a show, you may want to do that. If you wear branded apparel, you may want to do that. Always consider your background, especially for Zoom video meetings. Take a look at your lighting. I've seen a few Zoom meetings where I can hardly see the person. Make sure your audio is good, and make sure you've got a wired internet connection. When you do schedule meetings in advance, as a best practice, try to have an agenda of who's going to attend the meeting, what's going to happen. I believe your video meetings are limited to 20 minutes, so you really got to stay on point, and having an agenda that is shared with the participants when possible is going to help you get a lot more done in those meetings and stay on purpose. Okay, again, attend the webinar. Here's some knowledge prep. You got to make sure that the people that you put online here are ready to present your product, service, answer questions. So number one, decide what solutions you're going to feature in advance. Don't bring everything. Don't try to be everything. Lead with new, augment with hot, trending, best-selling, topical, and then round it out with your pillar products. Then ask yourself, what are the top 3 features and the benefits for these solutions that we're going to feature? Try to find one differentiated, what makes your product or service different to be one of those top 3. And then ask yourself, what are the specific customer needs that each one of these features and benefits address? Then script open-ended questions to get your visitors, your customers, to voice a need before you start talking about the product or service. Make sure that all of your virtual booth staff are trained to ask need-based questions and have the ability to quickly and effectively put your product information consistent, concise, and persuasive is what you're going for. Okay, next, and we know we're hitting you with a lot. Here's a final tip under staff product knowledge prep: FAQ list. Develop a list of the top questions you get asked about your company, about your solutions, and script your best answers and spoon feed them to everybody on your virtual expo staff. It's one of the beauties about working from your desk, right, is that you're not standing in live fire in a booth with them. You're sitting here, and you can have documentation at your fingertips to make sure you're putting your best information forward in the manner that you want it to be presented. Rules of engagement: check your booth visitor login in your grip dashboard at the beginning each day. There may have been people who visited that weren't responded to, or there were chats that weren't responded to, or meetings. So make sure you're interacting with your dashboard. Make sure that virtual booth is staffed during all open hours. One of the worst things you can do is have a visitor, just like live, they walk into your booth, no one's there, they're going to exit and they're not coming back. Be careful. Another reason for knowing when the educational session blocks are, one of the rules of engagement is you don't want to be, doing a lot of outreach and trying to chat and create meetings while people are attending educational sessions. That is very much like getting the phone call at home during dinner. Not appreciated, right? Respond fast, right? When people visit your booth, welcome them, chat, respond. When people request meetings, respond quick. Don't leave them hanging. When you do get into these conversations and these dialogues, especially in a virtual world, respect their time, right? 3 to 7, maybe 10 minutes, and respect their knowledge, right? Don't spend a lot of time telling them things that they don't need to know or already know. The key, what you're trying to do with each visitor, is identify what is it that they need to know about you, your company, your products, and you want to briefly meet that information need. You don't want to get too long and deep. Try to end every interaction with a visitor by a discussion of what happens next. What do we do next? And the more you get the visitor to collaborate on that next step, the more their commitment to take it is going to be real. Follow up fast, right? That's one of the things in the digital world, the ability to follow up quickly with visitors, and don't stop short. All right, now there's different ways your leads are captured. Lisa mentioned it earlier. Please lock this one into your brain. This is one of the most important actions you're going to want every visitor you touch, whether it's chat, whether it's a video meeting, right? You want them to click that drop a business card button. When they do that, that's going to automatically give you the contact information that they registered with. When people are chatting, if you're having chat, that's not automatically happening. You'll know that they chatted, you'll know who chatted, you'll know when, and you'll be able to review the chat log, but you don't have that information unless you kind of ask for it. So again, ask for it. Hey, please be sure, go right now, click that drop business card. Make sure you get that. That's going to be your document of entry, very much like your swipe or your business card. Lisa mentioned the gift bag program. There's some functionality built into that that can help you capture additional information. Check your virtual booth frequently when the live event is over, because there will still be traffic. People can still visit your booth. People can leave messages. And your visitor report. This is going to give you a lot of data. I'll show you to close. Final points on following up with leads. What you want to do is pull the visitors from the platform and get them into your CRM as fast as possible. So you're going to source them if it's a new contact. Source them to CDS, Midwinter 21. If they're an existing contact, right, you're going to want to enter a history record. Dr. Jones visited our booth, watched our video, chatted with Michael about this. They agreed they were going to have a in-clinic meeting in the next 6 weeks. So get that activity captured if it's already in your CRM, and then manage your one-to-one follow-up through your CRM. Right? You're not managing your follow-up through the platform. You're managing it in your CRM. One of the biggest points is asking visitors, hey, what should we do next? How can we help you learn more about this? What would you like us to do for you? How could we best follow up with you? Get the visitor involved in that, and then move fast and do what you say you're going to do. Finally, don't stop short. I think the biggest problem in trade show lead conversion is that the average exhibitor captures a lead, they email information, they make 1 or 2 email or phone call attempts, and they stop. It takes an average of 12 touches today to convert from point of contact to convert a lead to business. Don't stop short. If the lead is worth taking, it's worth following up on. All right, let's talk measurement and then get into Q&A. And I know we're hitting you with a lot. That's why we're recording this. You're going to be able to go back, watch the replay, slow it down, drag it through. You've got workbooks. So you can see kind of a screenshot here of the report, what the report looks like. And you'll notice in the top left, the unique users are the actual people that visited your exhibit. The number of interactions will tell you the chats and watch videos and meetings and drop business cards. Those are interactions, right? Then you're going to have downloads. If they downloaded your content, you're going to know who downloaded and what. Video views, which is critically important, we talked about. You're going to know how many people viewed the video, the number of people who and how many dropped your business card, and the number that clicked through on your website. Below it, see where it says drop a business card. You'll have your exhibitor name, the type of interaction, first name, last name, title, company name, and email address, right? And then user details goes down similar. Schedule a meeting, whatever they did in the booth. So what you'll want to do is come to get very familiar with the data that you're getting in your report, and then you're going to want to set up some performance analytics like how many chats did you have, right? And who did you chat with and what was discussed? Then you can kind of determine your efficiency. How many video meetings did you get scheduled and how many did you complete? Who did you meet with and what was the outcome and what was the next step of those meetings? From the money side, right, you're just going to want to take your total your total investment and divide it by the number of unique visitors or users or interactions, because that's going to give you a cost per interaction. Then you're going to want to look at the number of drop business cards in terms of the quality of those, how many of those you could call a lead, and you're going to want to calculate your cost per lead and estimate your potential sales from the event based on the quality of your leads. And then, of course, you're going to track your leads all the way through to conversion. If you're using a CRM, you should be able to do that. And you should be able to look back 6 months after the CDS Midwinter meeting and go, hey, we invested $5,000 and we generated $125,000 of top line revenue. The potential revenue value of our leads, we captured, 59 leads here, and the potential value of those leads was $500,000. So I know I've hit you with a lot here, and there's a lot of moving parts. So what I'm going to do is go into the Q&A now, and while I do, let me bring my Q&A slide up. Lisa, any additional thoughts or anything you want to add before I dive into the questions?
Well, I don't want people to feel overwhelmed because I know it can make you feel that way. We are here to help and answer questions. That's why I have asked Freeman to jump on. We do have a service desk, cdsvmwm@freemanco.com, and they're here to answer your questions as well. So I will be sending you an email with that link again so that you know who to contact if you have any questions about building your exhibit, which the deadline is coming up close. And of course, you could always reach out to me if you have any questions on either portion of the platforms.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. We do have several questions in the platform, so I'm going to start firing away. The first question is, where would exhibitors find the virtual event educational session roster? Where would they find that?
Right now, we have on our website, cds.org, once you click on Midwinter Meeting, it should open up to the Midwinter Meeting page where it'll say Course Catalog. That is going to be the list of the 118 live lectures that are part of the official program.
118 live lectures. Again, remember, best practice. I'm glad you asked that question, Joseph. Very important to go look at those and ask yourself which ones you relate to. This question may be a Andrea Casey Freeman Grip question. An exhibitor asked is, why are there two platforms? We have the Freeman OE Pro, which is the virtual, and then we have the Grip. Why are there two platforms?
That is really a CDS question. We wanted it to be the most robust virtual experience, and whereas the decision to go with Cadmium for the main landing page was the live interaction, the guidance of the speakers for the live presentation. It wasn't just submit a Zoom recording of your program, and they have the team that are doing tech checks with the speakers. But the Freeman exhibit platform was more robust than Cadmium's in light of live text chat, live video chat, the matchmaking, which was something we toyed with our in-person meetings, but we thought that the Freeman platform had a more robust exhibition package. So we tried to get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and that's been the reality for every event producer so far. They've had to kind of bring together multiple platforms to really, if you were at maybe another dental meeting who only had one platform and it wasn't robust and you maybe didn't get what you wanted from it, chances are that they tried to do three things with one platform, and each one of these platforms tends to have their own unique purpose and functionality. And I think CDS did a tremendous job of bringing together the best in class in all of the platforms. So this next question, Lisa, and I want to preface this, what I mentioned before, what we're seeing in the virtual world is that attendees are registering closer to the event than live events, right? And so the question is, how is the 2021 registration comparing maybe to 2020 at this point? We're what, about 5
Well,
seconds
it is a fraction. It is a fraction of what we would anticipate in a normal in-person event. I did email the exhibitors with the attendance totals by category as of last Monday. I did not get an update yet, but we're like 3,200 attendees so far. Typically at this point in time, we'd be over 20,000 people. One of the why we feel we're going to be getting more attendees, and the director of membership actually went ahead and she just sent me a note. We have 3,780 people who have registered as of today. That it was her idea to waive registration fees. 2021 in the state of Illinois is a re-credentialing year, and by attending the virtual Midwinter meeting with the 118 live lectures, Illinois even relaxed its rules about the home study, which would be watching a broadcast that wasn't live. That's one of the reasons why we stressed live, was so that people could get the full credit for attending. But now the state of Illinois has said even if you watch a program on demand for a certain time period, which I believe is the end of March, you can still acquire full credit as if you were attending a live program. So we feel that we'll get the dentist and the hygienist who need that CE for relicensure to participate in Midwinter meeting. It's another reason why we extended our platform to March 15.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. That was helpful. Let me see. The next question would be, in the registration process, whether it's through Cadmium or in the GRIP profile, where the attendee creates their profile, do they ask what sort of products or services that they're interested in? And does it kind of use AI matchmaking to put the right exhibitors in front of them? I don't know if that's a Lisa or that might be a Casey question.
I'm happy to help answer that if you would like, Lisa.
Go right ahead, Casey.
Awesome. So within registration, the attendees are going to fill out, they'll be prompted with a couple questions about their interests as they relate to products interested. And yes, you are correct. When the exhibitor logs into the matchmaking platform, GRIP platform, they will be prompted during the onboarding process to select the products that they provide. And our AI technology will be using that data to match them, which will be served as recommendations.
Okay, thank you, Casey. A follow-up to that, which I believe is in your wheelhouse, is in the GRIP platform, does the exhibitor have access to the attendee's email address?
Due to GDPR rules, we do not allow contact information to be automatically shared within the GRIP platform. You would need to request that via the chat feature or during your virtual meetings. However, if you are within the Freeman OEP environment, you can, when you drop a business card, you would automatically be shared that contact information.
That's important. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, we said that earlier. Your critical action for every visitor that is try to get them to drop a business card. That'll be the place where you capture. The GRIP AI matchmaking will put kind of the two of you in front of each other, and then you'll have the ability to do outreach, schedule meetings, chat, network, and so forth. But to capture that email address, lock that down, everybody. Drop your business card is one of the biggest actions you want every visitor to take. Thanks for your question, Hannah. Next question, Lisa, this may be in your wheelhouse. Does the booth need to be completed by January 29th?
Yes,
That's the first part
all
of
of
the
the
question.
collateral, yes, that needs to be uploaded by January 29. You will have access to go back into the Lend platform, that's the booth building platform, to tweak, view through February 5. But as of February 5, the platform will shut down. We will be launching the expo portion of the platform on February 19th. So Freeman does need that time to look at the assets, make sure that things are working properly, and then you have that 4 or 5 day window to go in and make tweaks. That's why the last day that we will be selling booth space is January 22.
January 22. Okay, so to play that back, January 29th is the date that you need to have your digital assets loaded. Did you say that the booth builder function is open through February 5th?
Correct. And then February 5th, it does shut down. So Freeman can finalize all of those details, and then we can send links to Cadmium so that pieces are linked together from what is on the Cadmium side to the Freeman side, and we make sure that everything is working together. So the attendees aren't going to know the difference between Freeman and Cadmium.
Okay. On February 19th, you mentioned the platform opens, where exhibitors can get in, and that would be the window, February 19th, up till the go time on the 25th, where they could go in and, make sure everything's right, get their staff familiarized. Can they begin their outreach to attendees in that February 19th window?
I believe that attendees will be able to look. I believe that attendees will be able to go in and look at the exhibition and look at the individual exhibitors, and if they have completed their onboarding, they should be able to start to try to email exhibitors or connect with exhibitors. But the live video chat, the live text chat, those features will not be active until February 25th. And they only are active the 3 live days of the meeting.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Let's see. So we have the question about attendees and how we figured that out. Let me see, several questions here. For the and this one, Casey, may be back in your wheelhouse, and it may be redundant. It's hard to tell. From the GRIP matchmaking platform, how are attendees matched with exhibitors? So is it based on the categories the exhibitor selects and the content? Part one. And then part two, how will visitors, the attendees, be directed to the booths for products they're looking for?
Yep, that's a great question. I think when we go over the technical workshop, I will be showing you exactly what the CDS platform looks like. So I'll be able to show you that full experience, which will be helpful for a visual. But yes, the attendees are getting served questions during registration that they're answering, and the exhibitors are answering questions when they first log on to the platform, and we're using that data to create those matches. In addition to that data, the way in which users interact and engage on the platform will serve more, will allow our AI solution to become smarter to serve more relevant leads. And again, please be sure to join us for that workshop. We'll be having in the next couple weeks, so keep an eye out on your inbox for it, because I will be able to demonstrate for you what the platform looks like and exactly that journey.
Yeah, that's going to be helpful. I think a lot of your technical questions will be answered in that. This one is a more general GRIP question. Can exhibitor use GRIP before and after the event, or is it only before and during the event?
So the GRIP platform will be available for you to log on a couple days before the live event, just so you can set up your profiles. However, like Lisa mentioned, you will not be able to host or have any meetings until the actual show dates. But we do let you on a little bit early so you can get familiar, you can update your profile, and you can pre-schedule those meetings. But then the platform will be available during the show dates to make connections and host the meetings. And we typically leave the platform open for a couple days after just to make sure you can finish up any last minute conversations before closing it. And again, we'll have those dates for you so you are well aware before they come.
Okay, we've got a question about recommended internet speed to be able to participate. Is there some kind of window on, upload, download speed that exhibitors should try to minimally have to be able to participate on internet speed?
The Freeman team, do you want to answer that based off your environment? Otherwise.
This is David. I don't have a recommended speed, but if if their computer is supporting this webinar or supports Zoom without glitching, then their speed is sufficient for anything that happens on our platform.
Okay, so if you're able to access Zoom, what I heard you say, David, was if the exhibitor is able to access Zoom and do meetings, then it sounds like they have more than enough bandwidth to be able to participate.
Correct.
Okay, so there's not like there's some set minimum upload and downloads megabyte per second thing they need to worry about. Just if you can run Zoom, you can run the platform. Okay, that's helpful. Let's see. We have more questions about pre-registration and going inside the numbers. Like we said before, it's early. The bulk of registration is not here, so we're going to table those questions for now, just because you'll be updated as we get closer to. And they're registering later, and just the reality is, don't expect the same volume of total attendance at a virtual as a live. What each one of you as exhibitors need to care about is, will there be enough of the right people for you, one, and two, make sure you do your part, right? Don't just rely on CDS. You've got house lists, you've got customers, all those list sources I gave you. Leverage your virtual exhibit. Do your part, and that anything that happens to fall into your booth at random is like the icing on the cake. Couple comments from exhibitors. One was a really good one. Dean submitted that he previously scouted dental meetings. He said people are more apt to stop or visit if there's some form of a giveaway, raffle, or sample. That's where Lisa had mentioned the grab bag program. It can help you with that, put it in front of a lot of attendees. Dean also mentioned that it's really nice to get a package in the mail after the virtual meeting that helps keep your company current in the dental practice, visible in the dental practice. That's great advice, Dean. We appreciate that. Lynn mentioned, she said, I'll be honest, this is a little overwhelming since I handle all dental opportunities and all are different. We feel you, Lynn. We understand. The main thing for you is to chunk it down. Step one, optimize your virtual exhibit assets, your videos, your content, all of that. Step two, promote to drive traffic. And step three, get your staff ready. I think if you put it into those three baskets and you realize that we're about 5 weeks away, you have to have your exhibit optimized by January 29th, and you'll have that February 5th window. And then if you'll really work on driving traffic from February 1 through the 19th, and then you'll take that week of the 16th to the 19th. The 19th, Lisa mentioned, the platform opens. So target your staff prep and your staff training, that window, February 19th, before the event goes live on the 25th. So, Lynn, the answer is you eat an elephant one bite at a time. You have three big bites here. Optimize your platform, target who you want to see, promote to drive traffic, and get your staff ready, and try to put it in those three baskets. And I think that'll simplify things a little bit for you, even though I understand you're probably dealing, like me, with 10 platforms at once. Let's see, someone said, can I get a copy of this presentation? It was recorded and will be uploaded to the CDS website quickly, within the next day or so. Here's a technical question. Lisa, there's a mobile app that's supporting the event.
Yes.
When does that go live?
We are holding it off for a little bit as we're making some final touches, but it should be soon. The mobile app is being powered by cadmium, so the information that exhibitors put into the cadmium section will be filtered directly into the mobile app. Again, it's another reason why they received an email with a link and a username to start uploading some assets there. That is not your exhibit. It is just to be supportive of the program. Once we get links from Freeman that tie to exhibits, the attendees who use the app will be able to access the Freeman exhibit booths for each exhibitor, but that's closer to the event.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Technical question, actually a support question, David or Andrea for Freeman. Does Freeman have some form of an outsourced group that could help with all of the technical detail stuff that is required to execute our exhibit?
So we do have, hi, this is Andrea with Freeman. So we do have our technical assistance email at cds.vmwm@freemanco.com. I believe Jefferson just sent it in the chat. Please reach out through that email, and myself and David and V, we will gladly assist with any exhibit upload. We also have some helpful documentations that I believe Lisa has provided you. We can send those through again. Just some step-by-step guides on how to upload through Lend and make sure you can preview your booth and get everything set. So yes, we are here to assist in any way, just so you are able to make that January 29th deadline and we can get your booth show ready.
Okay, I've got a question about the event admin person. So the exhibitor event admin person, can they have a complimentary personnel badge using the booth badge for the sales team? That's how the question is framed. I'm not. Can the exhibitor event admin person have a personnel badge using the booth badge for the sales team?
Yes, you can register. All registration, with the exception of a few dentist categories, is free. So your booth staff, or not booth staff, your other team, your other colleagues in your office can register as dental trade and have access to the platform. They just won't be in the booth. So you have that flexibility, and it is free. You just have to register through the link on our website and make sure you click attendee, not exhibitor.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. We got one more question around video. So once somebody has uploaded their video, say in that February 5th window, is it possible, can they make changes to a digital asset that was uploaded up till the go live date, or is February 5th, that's when it's got to be done?
So January 29th is the deadline to submit all assets. So please do that before then. After February 5th, there will not be any changes. That's our team's development time frame to ensure that we do a full quality check of all of the booths, make sure we develop it correctly and get it really looking show ready. So please submit all your assets by that January 29th deadline.
Okay, so that was pretty clear. Everybody put that as a hard landscape. All of your assets need to be submitted by January 29th, and then you'll have, it sounds like, that little review period up to February 5th. So once those assets get produced and uploaded, it sounds like after February 5th, there will be no changes. So make sure you try to work within that. Any sense, just ballpark, when the that GRIP webinar, the timeline for that? We've got a few questions about when that webinar will happen.
We will be
We're hoping.
connecting with Lisa and the CDS team to determine the date. Lisa, if you have anything to add.
We do know that we want the exhibitors to feel comfortable, but we want to make it as clear and concise as possible. So we are shooting for sometime at the end of January, but I don't want to make promises. I'd rather underpromise and overdeliver.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Our question about regarding video, is there any specific, like a size? Is it a 500 megabyte, or is there some form of a maximum file size they need to be thinking about for their video?
We are only
For
in the,
what part?
okay. You want to answer, Andrea?
No, if you have it in front of you, I was just going to look it up.
Yeah, I'm uploading a video to us. You're uploading a link to a video that you have posted on either Vimeo or YouTube. So we are not concerned about an actual file size.
Okay, that's helpful. So Scott, the answer was the video is actually going to be hosted on an external like Vimeo or YouTube. You're essentially providing a link. Is that correct, David? They're just providing a link?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you for your help. Lisa, where can we see the list of dental specialties that don't have free admission access to the event?
It's in the registration tiers. So just so you're aware, non-ADA member dentists and ADA dentists who are not members of the Chicago Dental Society are the two categories, and international dentists who are not members of the Chicago Dental Society are those three dentist categories that would pay a registration fee.
Okay, thank you. This may be a David, Andrea question. Does the exhibitor with their individual digital booth, do they have a direct link that they can use in their marketing that would pull people straight to their booth, or do they need to come in through the platform first? How does that work?
They would need to log in first through the Cadium site. All logins are handled and authentication is handled on the Cadium site, and then they would click into the exhibit hall from there. Any links sent out, direct links, would redirect back to the login page on the Cadium site.
Okay, so to clarify that, Hannah, there is no direct link to your booth. The attendee logs into the event and they access your booth through the event platform. So there's not a direct link per se. What about, David, what about booth staff login? How do booth staffers, the individual booth staffers, log into the event?
Same way as an attendee, if they're going to need to register with the registration company, and they will log in on the Cadmium site and then click into the exhibit hall to their booth.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Wow, a lot of questions. Of course, this is new to a lot of people. I think we've covered all the big rocks. I want to first of all thank David, Andrea, Vi, Freeman for being with us today. I'm so glad you were here. I think you provided a lot of clarity. Casey, thank you so much for your help today with GRIP. I think that's a super exciting program. You're going to learn more about both of these in the upcoming webinar. CDS will let you know of the date. It should be within the next week or 2 weeks. And Lisa, thank you to you always for caring so much about your exhibitors, to trying to do everything you can do to help them be prepared to win. So I think this concludes our webinar today. Be sure to complete the short survey you'll get in a few moments by email. And remember, we're going to record and upload this. And if you have not watched the other webinars, specifically on the optimizing your platform, because we did take each of the core functions and kind of gave you some guidance and some best practices on how to do that. You can access it on the CDS website at this link. So I want to thank everybody for being part of this. Wish we had more time. We've gone almost 30 minutes over. Thanks to Freeman, GRIP, CDS, and We will see you on the next webinar with Grip and Freeman. And we understand it's new. Just do it, do everything you can. Take it one piece at a time. Try not to stress too much. Remember, it's going to come down to optimizing your platform, driving traffic to it, and making sure your staff is ready to virtually engage. If you do those three things, you'll win the CDS virtual exhibiting program. So thanks so much. We will see you again very soon. This concludes our webinar today.